bienvenidos a mi show. Welcome to Catching Up with Claudia. Now, ojalá que se puedan quedar hasta el final para que puedan escuchar lo que va a compartir mi invitada o mi invitado. Así es que no se les olvide también de seguirnos por las redes sociales. Estamos en todas las plataformas. Hasta luego. All right. ¿Cómo están todos? Soy la super comadre Claudia de radiocristalusa.com. ¿Cómo están todos? Welcome. How are you doing? Welcome to episode number 326. Oh my God, I can't believe I've been talking this much. And this is season 10. So that means that this is year 10 of me doing this. And number 326, the 326th episode. I can't even believe it. So many numbers. But anyways, welcome. I'm super excited to have you join either through YouTube or through our Facebook pages or where else are we on? Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. And we're also online on www.radiocristalusa.com. So many ways you can join us. And, this is a super special day because there is a lot of stuff out there right now. On TV, I think there's something called the State of the Union, which I think I've been skipping for a while because I know what the state is already. I see it and I'm living it. But there's going to be some 2 or 3 hour long union address by the person that's occupying the White House. There were many people going online saying, is there anything else to watch? And I'm like, hey, you can join us today, right now, from 7 to 8. Well, actually, we're starting off early. Because there's so many people that were like, can we watch something else? I'm like, yes, come watch us. Come join La Super Comadre Claudia show because we have an artist, a mental health representative, as well as someone that is running for office. And that's a little bit more interesting. And you know what? After this, if the union is still going on, you can go watch paint dry. You can go outside and watch the grass grow. You can go and wait for your teenagers to come and finally clean their room. I mean, there's so many things you could do. You can watch your food, come take it out of the freezer, your chicken, and watch it thaw out. I mean, there's so many things you could do, right? But anywho, welcome. Welcome to the recording of La Super Comadre Claudia show, the podcast, as well as the live stream. All right, so what have I been up to? Oh my God, so much. But before I get to what's been going on with La Super Comadre, I want to give a proper thank you to my Super Comadre Liliana. If you could just say hello from back there, just saludos de La Super Comadre Liliana, because she is always making sure that things are connected and running. So, unas palabritas de La Super Comadre.
Ay, comadre, pues aquí estoy atrás de los micrófonos, atrás de todo, tras las balinas. I'm right here, backstage, trying to make everything run smoothly for you.
Thank you so much because of you made this possible. You put this together so that we can connect with the community and build community and share stories and resources. So thank you so much for providing this and for creating this.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for your 10th year.
I know. I can't believe it. I can't believe we're 10 years old.
Let's keep growing.
And let's keep growing. All right. So
guess what, comadre?
Guess what?
We're partnering with Univision.
Oh, see, what? Are you serious?
Aha, that's a surprise for later.
I love that. So stay tuned because I tell you, this woman is a connector. She's a doer. She's like, what else? And so, hey, we got a surprise and I can't wait because I'm going to be hearing it too for the first time. And I'm super excited to learn about this surprise. So stay tuned because we have a lot of things that we want to share. But first, before we get going, I just want to officially invite folks that maybe haven't connected with me before. And maybe this is their first time. And I will say, welcome. Maybe we don't see things the same way. Maybe we don't vote the same way. And that's okay because, just come and join and be part of this community. You might take something away, something new. You might see a different point of view. So welcome. And those of you that are here and been here before, welcome back. So a little bit about myself. What do I do? What have I been up to? So I am a mom. I got 2 teenage girls that are growing amazingly. And I just want to say that they are right now at City Hall supporting their friends who are speaking in front of the council. And they're speaking up against the un-American and unconstitutional tactics, um, or approach that ICE is taking. So I am like super proud. And I also want to say that these two little Latinitas have been protesting since about 2016, and they've been, they're like pros. They've been out there. They've seen myself and their dad stand up, march, go and speak, go and protest, go and vote. And so they know what that's about. And to see them over at City Hall today supporting friends that are speaking out against the tactics, and the unconstitutional approach to what ICE is doing to our comunidad, and it's just so heartbreaking. And for them to go and do that, I'm awesome. Another thing that my two girls and their friends did, they got together to coordinate a protest against ICE, but they were going to walk out of school, but the principal caught wind of it, and you got to do what you got to do, and that's fine. But it didn't stop the kids. They still got together and decided to do it on their day off, on President's Day. And I'm thinking, what better day than President's Day to go and exercise their right to protest these horrible tactics that are being used by ICE. And it's so exciting too, because it's teens looking up from their phones, like looking up from the screens. Well, maybe they saw on the screens what's going on, and great, and they use their phones to organize. But to see them looking up and becoming aware and seeing how this is affecting their communities, their friends, the people that make up the economy of our state and of our nation, like how our comunidad is being affected. It just really, I was in tears and I was moved, because my girls took part of that. It took part of that, protest on President's Day. They used their day off as a day of action. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see that. I have hope. For the future, for the kids, and that we'll be passing on the torch so that we can rest at some point. But we got to do what you got to do, and as long as we're raising them up right, in a way that they are thinking about others and thinking about, what can happen or what is happening, and how that not only affects them, but affects the community at large. I think that's a win, when they see that they are part of something bigger than themselves. So let's, as parents, as madrinas, as godparents, as aunts, as uncles, as there are children and teenagers looking up to us. What we do and say is what they will do and say. So let's make sure that we are looking and doing according to what is needed. And if someone is hurting, and if someone is being affected in a negative way, that we find a way to make sure that that's not happening, that's being mitigated, taken care of, and that's not happening again. So that's what La Super Comadre has been up to, is supporting her comadritas, her super comadrita daughters, doing the work of being out there and speaking up on others that may not have the ability to speak up because of fear. So that is a little bit about my family, about my girls and what they're up to. And thank you so much for watching. And I'm happy to have you here. One thing I am really big about is community and community building. And this show is all about uplifting and connecting. And if it wasn't for our sponsors, I want to say thank you to our sponsors who make this happen. Everyone from Chris Pignon, who is he does amazing media and photography, to Cookie Face Cosmetics. She makes sure that I get dolled up with my eyelashes and my face, makeup and what have you. There he is, Chris Pignon. And then I also have Ilsa Garcia with Ilsa's Glam Boutique. She was always making sure that I have, jewelry to wear. And then I have Menawake, who is another one of my sponsors, who is this amazing woman who put together a line of products for women going through menopause. And that's me. And y'all have seen it and y'all have heard it, and it's hard. And, and I'm thinking, how how am I supposed to go through menopause during this election and then raising 2 teen girls? I don't know, but thankfully MetaWake is there, and I use some of those products, and yeah. So thank you to my sponsors. Thank you for being there for us, so that we can be there for others in community. All right, so I don't want to spend so much more time on myself, so I'm going to take it over to my first guest, who is also one of my sponsors. And my first guest, it's the art part of today. And I want to bring on Chris Pignon. Where is he? There he is. Woo! Welcome back to my super comadre, Chris Pignon.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, we were talking off camera, or off, what do you call recording, earlier, because there's so many methods now that we connect, right? We were talking about like how long I've been doing this. And then I started thinking about the time that you came in person. Ooh, what year was that?
That had to have been 2019, if I'm not mistaken.
2009. And we were up
there at Pasadena Town Square.
Pasadena Town Square. We were in a big studio. And I remember I brought you on because I was like really into your photography. At that time you were doing.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of black and white back then. And I used a hashtag called Nor Picture of the Day.
Yes.
To kind of take on, weather picture of the day, NASA picture of the day. So it was like a black and white picture of the day that I started doing a few years ago. And it's metamorphosized into something completely different now.
Yeah. Yeah. You went from Noir Picture of the Day to something that you're going to share. But before we get from that to here to what's on your shirt and what you're about to announce, talk about like, you were listening off camera, off recording, you were saying something about the universe. What has the universe been telling you since 2019, since when we last recorded up until now? What are some of those whispers?
Just keep doing what you're doing, essentially. A couple of things occurred this late last year. One of them was what I'm about to share with the film festival. I first attended the Houston Latino Film Festival in, I believe, 2019. And ever since then, I've always told myself there's something I want to submit, but I just never got around to it. And then in August, a chance meeting with somebody who talked me into it. I said, what's holding me back?
Ooh.
And so I said, I'm going to do it. And my goal was to meet the deadline, which is November 30th. And to have a finished product, to have a finished project. And that was my goal all along, just to submit, and expect the letter. I'm sorry, your project was not accepted. But quite the contrary. I remember getting the email that I read 20 times. And it said, your film has been accepted. And I even did this. I said, there has to be not accepted in there. And I even sent it to a relative. I said, can you read this for me? And in the vast scheme of things, it may not seem that big of a deal to people, but if you're a filmmaker, and it is a big deal. And this festival is becoming more and more well respected around the country and within the film festival community. This is their 10th festival. So
wow,
that was one of the things. And then even within the project itself, there were just a series of coincidences that occurred. This is the trailer right here for.
And if you are not aware with the purpose of the love locks,
yeah, let's go ahead and listen to the trailer.
Couples
real quick
come up to this particular bridge. They write their names, a little love message, and the date. They place the lock on the bridge and then toss the key.
Are y'all ready to smile? Yes, my goal is to find the people that placed these locks on the bridge.
Wow. And okay, tell me the title. And so this is a piece of what you submitted. So what is the title? Why, how did you come up with this project and that turned into this film?
Well, part of, one of the coincidences that happened a few years back in 2023, I was in the process of breaking up with somebody, and we decided to put a commemorative lock on the bridge because the relationship had ended on good terms. So we said, well, let's go put a lock on the bridge, a bridge where people are probably starting their relationships. They're putting a lock, writing a message and the date, and locking their love in and tossing the key or doing something with the key. And so when we were up there, they happened to be, as that shot you saw, removing the locks. There was a work crew removing the locks. And I was wondering, what are they doing? Why are they removing the locks? So I asked them, I said, why are you removing the locks? And they said, well, they are becoming a safety issue for the bridge. They're compromising the integrity of the bridge because they're very heavy. And so from there, I had the idea for this photography project called The Heavy Burden of Love, which symbolizes, this people's love, and it's very heavy. And as you know, love is not always easy. So the other coincidence, I happened to work for the department that was removing the locks. So I knew who to call to get some of the locks. And so I called, and he said, we've got all these locks in the back of a dump truck waiting for an art project, not my art project, but some other project. So I went and grabbed what I could carry because they're very, very heavy. So I grabbed what I could carry and put them all in a Home Depot bucket and photographed all of them. And with the hopes that somebody would come across the lock on my social media and say, hey, that's our lock. And if that had happened, I would have, heard their story. I'm sure that's a story we would all want to hear. Are y'all still together? This lock shows a date of 5 years ago. And that's so in early last year, I did an exhibit at Sabine Street Studios. You
I had a chance to come out. Yes.
Yeah. And I, with the assistance of a friend, Rudy, he helped me build a replica of the fence, and I had that exhibit. And then in November of this year, or late August, I was able to rebuild. There's the truck with all the locks.
Look at that.
That's all the locks.
You were diving in there to get the locks. That's
amazing. And so the exhibit went back up in November at my studio, right outside of my studio. And that's where I got the idea for the Polaroids. And we started putting the Polaroids, hanging them on the replica of the fence that was in the studio. And it was at that moment I realized, oh, hey, this lady said, oh, can you Photoshop me? I said, no, this is analog. There's no Photoshop in these Polaroids. And right then I thought, hey, these locks and these pictures that I'm putting together are truly an analog moment. No matter what happens, like right now, if the power should go out, what we're doing right now is finished. Yeah. However, my Polaroids and those locks, no matter what happens to that grid, they are still there.
They're still
there. That brief moment that those couples put on that bridge, we can still share. So that's where I got the title, An Analog Moment. And so hopefully down the road, I can find some of these people I still haven't. And,
that would be interesting to see, who's still together. What's your story? And to me, did you break up? What happened? Like for you to go out there, and it's like you went with your former partner to have closure, like literally to have your lock of closure, and I wouldn't even think of that. Right. But so many people actually want closure in their relationships sometimes. And sometimes they don't even get that. But for you to have been able to do that with your partner and then come across someone taking them off, and you're like, and then turning into a moment of art. What would you like for the viewer who views your film, or the ones that come out to see your exhibit if you put it out again? What would you like for them to take from this?
I want them to enjoy it. The people that came and saw the replica of the fence outside of my studio at Winter Street really enjoyed it. The fact that it was artwork that you could touch and interact with. I had people, if you want to write on the locks, go ahead. And then taking their Polaroid picture. People wanted me to take their pictures. It got to a point where I didn't have to ask. they would ask me, how do I get my picture on that fence?
Oh.
And in the documentary, you can see, or you saw a little bit in the trailer, where I just took pictures. And so I have in my studio a stack of like about 50 Polaroids that I took, and I had them sign it with the date. I had these two sisters or two cousins from Turkey, from Istanbul. They were visiting a relative here. I had people from San Antonio stopping by to view the art at Sawyer Yards, and they came across the fence and really liked it. And so I want people to get that when they see an art, a piece of art. I'm not sure what they think of, but when they see that Lovelock fence, I know what they're thinking. They're thinking, where are these people? Look at this date. Look at these names. And so it leaves them with something to think about. Maybe they've put a lock on that bridge or a bridge all over the world, because they're all over the world. Yeah. So hopefully they leave with that. Yeah. And then when they see the short film, it's something that I did completely by myself. Originally, I had actors that were going to do a dramatization of me finding a couple that put a lock on the bridge, but it just didn't work out. And in a way, I'm glad it didn't, because I liked the product that I delivered. So I was very happy with it. And I believe you've seen it, and I've shared it with a few people, and I think I got the message across, and they really, really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed making it. It was a lot of work.
Me, my takeaway was, would I ever put a lock on something? I'm afraid.
Well, see, you came away with something.
Yeah. And like I would love to, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, like this couple right here. I just happened to be up there one day, and they were engaged, and they were putting their lock up there.
Wow.
And he happened to be an author. I bought his book, which which is on this shelf right here.
On the shelf behind you.
Yes.
Love it.
In here. And before the end of the show, I'll see if I can find it. And these young ladies that you see here, I think they were exchange students.
Okay.
So I took their picture, and as you can see behind me there, the fence with the locks.
There it is. And so that fence is what you you recreated that moment. Yes. Right here.
And the good thing about that, the original exhibit that went up in last February or March at Sabine Street was just going to be a photo exhibit. But the marketing person, or the person in charge of exhibits at Sabine Street, Justin Grant, I have to give him credit. He said, "Why don't you build a fence?" And I said, "That's crazy." I said, "How are we going to do that?" And he says, "We bolt stuff to the wall all the time." Yeah. So I called my friend Rudy, and that's another coincidence right there. He walked in when I was at Sabine Street one time, and he happened to be a high school friend of my uncle from 1968.
Wow.
And he's a very talented craftsman. Yeah. I told him, "How do we build a fence here?" He's, "Oh, we'll buy some 2x4s, and then we'll drive around and look for some fencing." And,
wow. There you go. There you go. That's amazing. I said, "No,
let's buy some. Let me just buy some." He goes, No. Let's just drive around. And we did that. We drove around, and he goes, "Look, right there." And we stopped and clipped some fencing from a vacant lot. And that's what you see there. It's in my garage right now. From a vacant lot over off of.
Wait, I can only imagine you guys like pulling up like with a truck, and then you like just toss the stuff and go before someone comes out. Is that what happened?
Exactly what we did. And he told me, he says, if the police come by, he says, "Don't say anything. I'll talk to them."
Just be quiet.
But it was a vacant lot. It was. So we loaded the fencing in the back of the Suburban.
I love it.
Built it, and so it was a lot of fun.
That seemed like a lot of fun.
So there was just a lot of stuff that just really worked together.
That's amazing, because like you said earlier, the universe sends you those little messages, sends you those people that cross your path for a reason, and then boom, you put it together, and here it is.
And a lot of times we don't listen to those messages. For years, I never did. And then when I met that Maria at the Houston Media Conference, for years people have told me, "You need to make a short film." And I said, yeah, but for some reason, the way she said it, I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to, or at least I'm going to hit that deadline.
Yes.
And so had I not gone to that conference, we probably wouldn't be talking today, or we'd be talking about something else.
That's amazing. It's amazing how the community, how the universe, you get these connections and you move forward. I mean, I'm still remembering from the time you sat on the couch and you had this idea of having your own studio, your own business, and then from there to here, like you have your own studio now. You have your own business, and now you have a film. So could you please share how can the viewing and the listening audience connect to the Houston Latino Film Festival, which is on your shirt? Another connection that you mentioned before we started recording. I thought this was a shirt given to you, or that you were already promoting.
No, I got this a number of years ago. This wasn't the one I got in 2019. That I got this at a different date, and or I may have purchased it at the Houston Media Conference. But you can go to their website. I just checked. The listing, the showing is not listed yet, so I'm not sure what time An Analog Moment will be shown. It's probably in the local segment of the festival.
And when does it occur? Yeah, and when?
This is from March 18th to March 22nd, 2026.
March 18th through March 22nd. And is there a cost? How can people participate?
Yes, you can. Okay. There is a 4-day, 5-day pass, I think is what it is. I think it's $60. And a single day pass is, I believe, $14. So it's not very expensive. It's actually quite a deal for $60. For 4 days. You get to see all these films in a nice location.
Yeah. Where is it now?
It's at Match.
At Match. Okay. I remember going to one years ago, and we were watching it from the back of a Tahoe at a Brown and Root. I think they had shut down, and they had converted their parking lot into a movie scene, kind of a cinema with Connex boxes and a big, I don't know, I guess some kind of screen that they hooked up there. But it's evolved so much and it's grown. So I am super excited.
So I'm very excited and very honored.
Yes,
to have been accepted. So anybody that has an idea that they want to work on, you just need to do it.
Yeah, just do it. Like you said, just do it.
I have a friend in California. He used to work at this marketing firm that bought films from to export to foreign markets. And he told me something that he told me that always stuck with me. He says everybody out here in Los Angeles has a preview reel. He says, those are a dime a dozen. He says what you need to do, no matter how bad it is submit a feature-length film, because it shows that you finished something. He says no matter how bad it is, somebody's going to buy it.
That's good advice.
Yeah, he said, he told me this last year. He says everybody out here has a sizzle reel. He says, but if you have something finished, he says even if it sucks, he says, and he's absolutely right. I remember I watched something on Amazon Prime. I Married Bigfoot or something like that, because a friend told me, or Bigfoot versus Martian clowns, or but I have Amazon Prime, so I told my friend, why did you send that to me? That was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And she says, you know what, Chris, you're right, it was, but you paid to see it.
But yeah, someone made some money.
She says you sat through it, you paid to see it. So she says that separates that filmmaker from most people.
Got it done,
you just got it
produced, got to submit it, and someone purchased and watched it.
Yeah, I was watching that. I said,
that's crazy.
Really marry Bigfoot?
Tell me later about the Bigfoot and the clowns. But before we get to the Bigfoot and the clowns,
like that, I remember.
I want to take a little pause because I want to bring you back, because I want to bring on a guest who you were connected with through me and an organization that we were a part of years ago. And you're going to get a chance. We're going to bring everybody back towards the end, but I want to move on to introduce this next person. I want to say, for those of you that are just tuning in, we just had a quick interview with Chris Pignon. He had a feature that is now going to be part of the Latino Film Festival, which is coming up March the 18th to the 22nd. And he'll come back on to do final thoughts and final words. But I want to bring on my next guest because those two are connected, because I met them. And like Chris says, you never know who you're going to meet, why you're going to meet them, and how they're going to support you, your work, your thoughts, your dreams. So I want to bring on my next guest, who is a new Super Comadre, because Super Compadre Chris has been on before. But now I'm bringing on a new Comadre. She is Super Comadre Edna Mojica. Come on. So there she is.
Hi, Macias, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien. ¿Cómo está usted, Edna?
I'm good. I'm so happy to see you on this platform, even through here. I'm so happy.
I know. I know. Did you recall the photographer?
Absolutely. Who could forget Chris? We took amazing pictures. He took amazing pictures of us. It was very exciting. So it's good to see Chris on this platform as well.
And all the growth, all of your growth, his growth, like season 10 of this show. I mean, I had just started doing it when I met you.
Wow. How time passes. Mm-hmm. I love how Chris said, just do it. It doesn't even matter. So I'm sitting here oohing and eyeing because he said, yeah, he watched whatever he watched. And his friend was like, yeah, but you paid for it.
It's ridiculous, but you paid for it. There is a buyer for something.
Yes.
For your thing. It doesn't matter what you have. There is a buyer for it. You just have to make sure you find the right buyer. That's the way I see it. Someone told me a long time ago in a business, like a business type of, support workshop, it was, don't change your price of whatever you're selling, because it's just that you haven't found the right buyer, or the buyer hasn't found you, the person that needs that service or that book or that movie. Out there. They're out there. So hold on to what you have and your price point and your value, because that audience is out there.
Yes. Yeah. We have to believe in ourselves and bet on ourselves first, because if we do that for ourselves, that's what we're going to attract. So
absolutely.
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm.
So speaking of attract, and we attracted each other years ago when we first met, an organization that we started where Chris was our photographer. We had a chance to connect again over coffee. And this is when I'm like, you need to come on. We need to have, well, first it was like the coffee. We kept trying to do coffee day. We finally made it happen. We caught up as if we just stopped talking the day before.
Absolutely.
And then we bumped into each other briefly at a domestic violence, the Purple Carpet.
Yes.
Which is an organization that raises funds to support people that have gone through domestic violence, and to support their journey as they move, through that and move forward. So I remember when we saw each other, they were like,
pictures and hugs and all the things. And I saw your daughter. Oh my God, they're so beautiful and big. How time passes, right?
Yeah, estaban chiquitas. They were so small, and now están más grandes que yo.
Yeah, advocating with your mom.
yes, girl. I can't believe it. I mean, it's like almost full circle now.
Yeah,
and go ahead.
No, that's the beautiful thing, that what we do, our children are right there observing. They're right there receiving and dreaming as well, because the more we expose them to things, the more they start thinking and growing and wanting to do things. Look at them right there with their mama advocating. I heard the story about what they did at school, like that in itself, and they're so small now, but they have that heart, that you started with. So congratulations, Claudia.
Thank you. And I remember when I met you, your kids were probably my kids' age. They were barely, about to begin their path and life and graduations, and now mine are there, and it's just time passes, and it's beautiful, and it's crazy, and it's a roller coaster ride, and I'm glad that we are on this roller coaster ride at this moment and this time.
Yes, absolutely.
So Edna, tell the viewing audience a little bit, however much you want, about you, Edna, founder of MTC, you're the work in the mental health space. Just a little bio about you.
Well, thank you for providing me this platform to do so. So my name is Edna Mojica, and I am founder of MTC Productions. So MTC Productions started out with my own life. I create platforms for individuals to share their story of trauma, of survival, through storytelling, through their art. And art doesn't need interpretation. And when you share your story of survival, there's something impactful. And since art doesn't need interpretation, art does not need someone to tell them about it, it transfers something. So through dancing, through poetry, through storytelling, through music, this platform is created to do so. So through it started out me sharing my survivor story through domestic violence. I gone through some different types of difficulties of child abuse and molestation and into domestic violence and violence in the street. So I decided that that was just not my story. Something had to come out of that. So as I was learning to heal, as I was learning to find my voice again, I said, this is bigger than me. So this is where MTC Productions came. Now I do pop-ups throughout Houston, and I collaborate with established artists to open up spaces through people that just love art and they heal through art. So when Chris was talking about his chain story in this film, that is art in itself, because people are healing through those things.
Yeah.
Something simple as a lock, there's a story behind it. Now he's featuring their stories. Stories are impactful. So from that, I'm creating a film, which I'm so excited because I just heard Chris. I'm like, no, Chris, this is
oh
excellent.
my gosh, it's all connected. See?
It is. So there's a book that's coming out this spring. It's going to be my first featured book. It's called I Left Now What? And it's a story that it's going to have my story in and other survivors of what happens when you leave these relationships. Because part of it, people, when you're in this unhealthy relationship, people have questions. One of them is, why are you still there? Right? We ask ourselves that too. There's a lot of us that trying to leave, attempted to leave many times, but there's certain things that keeps us there or keeps us returning. So this book is education for anyone that is leaving, planning to leave, that left, anyone that wants to know what that looks like, anyone that wants to support the person that left, survivors, faith-based advocates, that what happens in that journey. So we talk about the justice system, we talk about health system, how to support your children, how to trust yourself again, how to stay safe. So this book is going to walk anyone through this process, and it's going to have resources, and it's going to be a journal book. And because this is such a lonely space, I'm going to have a podcast for each chapter. And if you don't want to walk it by yourself, if you need a voice, and voices, because it's going to be full of knowledgeable people in episodes, every chapter is going to have an episode that you can listen to as well. And with this podcast, I Left Now What, is going to trickle into the documentary that hopefully it would come out the end of the year. That is a documentary of survivor voices. And we're going to film people's voices. We're going to film their stories. So that in a nutshell is what I'm doing.
Wow. So needed, especially because you're bilingual. También se necesita esta voz en la comunidad hispana, los que hablan en español, because especially now, there's so much fear of of asking for help, of going to appointments or therapy, of leaving their spaces because they don't want to get picked up by, I would just say ICE, And yeah, they're afraid. So thank you for continuously step into the arena with your story so that you can elevate and collect other stories so that someone that is going through it can connect, through your book, through your episode, through your podcast, and be able to connect in a way that they feel safe. Yes. And the title of your book, I Left Now What? That's huge, because like you said, there, many people will say, well, how come you didn't leave? And it's not easy. It's not easy. There's so many things. And now on top of what is happening, what's going on, and then add what's happening now in current times, there's another layer as to why many will probably not leave. And we got to make sure that they have some type of safe passage or connection, because they're really afraid to leave.
Absolutely. That's why our mental health is so important, because if we don't, first of all, what is mental health? Mm-hmm. Mental health is a state of our emotional, our physical, and our cognitive well-being. It shapes how we think, it regulates our emotions. How do we handle stress? How do we make decisions? How we relate to others? So it's simply the absence of illness.
Yeah.
It is the presence of resilience. It's clarity, it's self-awareness. So having a strong mental health allows us to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting with our impulses, and maintaining our healthy relationship with people, functioning effectively at work and our community life. So if we are uncertain with this stressful season, which I think we all are, in some part,
yes,
mental stability protects our physical, it reduces our conflict way of reacting, it strengthens our judgment. So prioritizing our mental health is essential because it directly influences every area of our lives.
Okay. I'm going to hold right here with that about mental health and looking at our areas of our life, because there's a lot more I want you to share, but I want to bring on my next guest, because she's waiting in the wings, and we're all going to tie this together. We're going to come together like the Brady Bunch, the way the show starts. But before we talk about that arena, or that subject of taking care of ourselves, what are we doing? What is mental health? How are we? I want to bring on a guest who is actually out there, and we got to make sure she's taking care of herself, because she's out there seeking a position. So I want to bring on my next and final guest, Leticia Gutierrez, who is running for office. Where is she? I thought I saw her. There she is. Hello and welcome.
Hola, buenas. ¿Cómo están todos? Thank you
so much.
Hola,
buenas noches. ¿Cómo estás, first of all?
Pues I'm okay right now. It's been early voting is in full swing. Mm-hmm. So it's been, difficult to just kind of balance and juggle. But you know how us Latinas do, we're really good at making sure that our families are taken care of, that our work schedule. And so now I'm having to weave in running for congressional office. But thank you for asking me. And I love this topic. So yeah, I mean, fire away. I'm ready for, I don't know if you want to ask questions, but I will say really quick that mental health is definitely at the top of my ticket.
Thank you. And we're using this community right now, this connection, for you to share, who you are, what position you're running for, and what is on your ticket. One of it being mental health. Sorry, I got a cough. Se me fue la saliva.
That's okay.
So share a little bit about you, your background, why you're running. Ya se me fue la voz. Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay, mira, I'll take over.
Let me get some water so you take over.
Ándale. So my name is Leticia Gutierrez, and I am running for the newly redistricted Congressional District 9. It's the new district that was gerrymandered, to basically dilute our voices. I've been living in this district for over 45 years, and I've been working tirelessly for the last 15 years as it pertains to predominantly children's health, which bleeds into family. And, a lot of the work that I do health wise. And so I was the first one in my family to graduate from college. I went to school for finance and economics, and then I had a couple of kiddos. My son started developing upper respiratory issues at a very young age, and his pediatrician pointed at my zip code as being one of the major culprits as to why he wasn't getting better. And then I started doing some more digging, and looked at some of the research that had been done, that children living 2 miles or less from the port were 50 times more likely to also develop certain type of leukemias. And so this was very concerning to me. And I'm sure as a mom, my first instinct, anyone's instinct, was to move. However, I decided to stay because I have my parents, all of my tias, mis tios, mis primos, we live within a very short range of each other. And, all of us grew up near the port. And so it was just one of those things where the smells and the things were just a way of life, never really thinking that there was negative health outcomes. So I did a 180 on my career, and I delved into the environmental justice world. And I've been working for a nonprofit organization, Air Alliance Houston, that we're the 501c3, nothing to do with my campaign, of course. However, I've devoted my life to not just, as it pertains to environmental, but a lot of other quality of life issues that impact our children, everything, making sure that we have, a good public school system. I chose to stay here in my community and chose, my children to also attend the same schools that I attended. And so, again, it's important to make sure that not only do we have, access to clean water and clean air, chemicals away from our foods, quality schools, but also mental health. That was something that I didn't learn until very recently, that, having access to mental health resources is, you don't have to have any serious issues, so to speak, for you to seek help. And that can be any sort of help, right? I feel that, as Hispanos, not to paint us with a broad brush, but I feel that we're one of the last groups or demographics that are barely starting to get into the swing of, it's okay to want to seek out a therapist, or, to find someone to kind of sort of talk through some of our issues and our problems. We can't just, like this one comedian said, sana colita, our way through life thinking that things are going to get better if we don't have the resources and the mechanisms necessary to make us whole. So my daughter is actually a senior at U of H right now, and she's studying specifically clinical psychiatry and wanting to do social work predominantly around our Hispanic community, because again, we see a lot of those gaps in our community, and especially in our youth. I can tell you, growing up as an immigrant and, not really knowing how to navigate a lot of the systems, but at the same time, having to navigate my parents, I hear there's another comedian, not that this is all about comedians, but there's this comedian, his name is Felipe Esparza. And he's like, when I was in grade school, the teacher was like, what's 2 + 2? What's 5 + 5?
Uh-huh.
He was like, how do I file an extension,
Oh my gosh.
Well, that was my life as well. Till this day, when I go visit my parents, is léeme esta carta, or léeme este mensaje. There's all these phishing schemes, trying to basically scam our elderly and scam those that don't speak English well. So all of that to say that, we want to make sure that our communities are also in the know about what's important to make us whole. And I'm very proud of my daughter, delving into this very important, new chapter in her life. And so I just wish that, I'm hoping that the goal is for me to get into Congress. And that is one of my missions, is to bring more federal dollars into our community to make sure that we do start with youth, that we do have mental health services in school, from grade school to middle to high. And so, that's important for us to be able to succeed.
Absolutely. And I'm going to now bring on the rest, our first two guests, because now we're going to do a little connection, a una comunidad, una charla, networking. And so let's bring on Chris Pignon and Edna. So we're now doing the Brady Bunch here. I want you guys to also use this opportunity to network and connect with each other, because I see some stuff already happening. Leticia gets to office. Edna has some stuff already that's already laid out for in the mental health space. We got Chris Pignon, documentary. Edna, Chris Pignon's already in the Latino Film Festival. Leticia, you need some promotional photography. I mean, it's all here. And, but I wanted to take this time just to just be connected with each other and have comunidad here. And I'm going to start off with the question, Edna. What is it that you recommend as we are out here being moms, working, running for office, doing the documentary work, promoting ourselves and the work we do, and navigating voting and the political climate that we are in? What are some strategies or some tips or something that you can share with us and with the listening audience?
So, no importa quién está en el gobierno, right? Nosotras como mujeres latinas, como una comunidad latina, seguimos siendo el corazón de nuestra familia y nuestras comunidades. Our responsibility is to protect our mental health, our physical and emotional health. And it doesn't change with election. It doesn't change with who's on there. I think for us, setting boundaries vale que una discusión política doesn't come in between, right? Sometimes political conversations is very stressful. When we see our things on the TV, sometimes it's stressful. Every time we're scrolling, something pops out. So I think our peace of mind is so important. Our emotional health is so important. So we have to watch the way we're feeling. What does that look like? When we're overthinking things, probably when our bodies are reacting to tension, when we're thinking of disaster happening in our world, which is normal, because if that's what's happening in the world, we can't ignore it. However, we need to stay grounded. We need to find whatever keeps us hopeful, whatever keeps us together, whatever keeps us peaceful. So we have to be intentional with those things. If it's art, if it's journaling, if it's walking, if it's taking breaths, whatever that is, we have to be intentional with it, because if we don't watch, we'll lose ourselves. We really will lose ourselves.
Thank you, Edna. Anyone else want to just jump in? How are you taking care of yourself, Leticia? Because you are out there. You have your daughter. You have a campaign, and you have work. So talk to us about how you're taking care of yourself. What are those things that fuel you to keep you going?
I have to take nature walks. I have to go outside. I love, before I campaigned, I was always outside. I'm always block walking, talking to community, just staying in the loop about what's important, not just for, my goals, but what my community is going through. So I love to just walk neighborhoods to see what it's like, for children to walk across the street to get to school, or parents to have to, deal with any sort of nuisances in the area. So I love walking. And so I try my best. I feel like that just kind of sort of calms my nervous system down, because I will say, yes, I feel like I don't like to be operating out of give that energy of survival mode, right? Because whenever you're operating in that way, from what I read and from what I've just kind of absorbed, is that you don't put your best foot forward when you're operating, survival, fear, just working off of a scarcity mindset. It just doesn't hold well. And so I try my best to center myself. I know it's going to sound I'm a real tree hugger. I will genuinely go outside and hug my trees. I have some trees that I'm growing, and I feel like I give them love and they give me energy back. And I walk outside barefooted. Okay, I'm literally about to sound like a hippie right now, but but I promise you, it does help. Like, just trying to absorb the energy from the ground in order to center myself. But then I'm also, making sure that my daughter is okay because, as females, living in this state, it's difficult, right? We're always on guard. It feels like, we're always making sure that, we're protected. And so just checking in with her, anytime that we're hanging out, it makes me feel better. So just making sure that I'm, how do you say, carving out those very specific times for me to make sure that I'm okay.
And so needed. It's so needed when you are in a position potentially like the one you're going to step into is keeping cool, keeping centered as you go into, I guess you could say, battle, because you will be going into battle. At times you will be going into having some, stand your ground, say your words, and get, legislation done or taken care of. But being that calm person that I think we all need right now. We need leaders who are able to keep it together, stay centered, listen, absorb, take care of themselves, and then make the best decisions for humanity at this point.
No, that's very well said. Yeah.
Yeah. So Chris, you're going to round it out. How do you protect your mental and emotional health?
Well, as you can see, I read a lot.
Yes.
That's one thing that helps a lot. And another thing that lately I have found kind of disturbing, when I walk the dog in the morning, all the kids are waiting, like 15 kids at the corner of the street, waiting for the bus, and they're all doing one thing. They're all looking at this. They're not communicating. They're not talking to each other. And that I find deeply troubling. I think we have lost touch with our spiritual nature because of the technology. I mean, go to places in Mexico like Atemaco, which is very famous for their brujeria. You probably won't find one cell phone down there, or a lot of people on their phones, because they're in touch with the nature. They're they're in touch, like what I had started with the universe. We don't listen to that. We're losing that. And I think more people should do something to fix that. And it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
When we first started talking in 2019, Claudia, I believe we talked about it's okay to feel bad.
It's okay to feel bad. Yeah.
It's okay to feel bad. It's what you do with those feelings that counts.
Absolutely. So we're at the end of our show. We started with a great Chris Bignon, then brought in Edna, and then brought in Leticia. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here on this show, La Super Comadre Claudia. This is live streaming right now, but your guests, your friends, everyone else can watch this again. That way they get a chance to hear your message, Chris, your message, Edna, as well as yours, Leticia. And I want to wish everyone an amazing run, an amazing show. Como se dice, your show at the Latino, your film being, shown at the Latino Film Festival. And Edna, I know you have a documentary, a book, as well as a podcast, as well as I think you sent us information for an upcoming event. And we're going to be posting your event, un poquito de tu evento.
So it's a networking event. It's on March the 8th to celebrate International Women's Day. In the world, every country is celebrating that day. It's very impactful. So on March the 8th, the information, I think we're going to post it.
We're going to post it. Yeah, here it is.
From 11:30 to 2 o'clock, many women are coming together. We're going to talk about businesses, how to start one, educating on self-help, and celebrating each other as women there. And men could come too.
Absolutely. We need each other.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. But thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for being here with me. And this is not going to be the last time. There will be other opportunities. The way you have come back, Chris, I will have you, Leticia, and Edna come back, because there's so much more that we need to share and connect with, and make sure that we're constantly uplifting each other, motivating each other, inspiring each other, but starting first with taking care of ourselves. We need to set those boundaries. We need to protect our health. We need to protect our emotional health. We need to make sure that we're grounding, we're using art, journaling, walking, not losing ourselves to technology, staying in comunidad. And that's what this is about on my show. So thank you so much for being here and being on the Super Comadre Claudia community today. Hasta la otra. Thank you so much. Corazones.
Yeah.
And we're going to take a picture. So don't leave just right now. Hold on.
Okay.
Una foto. Gracias por haber estado aquí en el show Catching Up with Claudia. ¿Tan tan? ¿Ya terminamos? Ok, bye.